back here at 220 pounds, and this is a bracket much like 195 where you got a lot of guys that can get after it. And I think there's one dominant guy as far as I'm concerned, but then you got 4 spots open and a lot of guys that could fill those spots. We look at who we have in this bracket, and the number 1 seed, returning state qualifier, Paulo DeSanto from Plymouth White Marsh. He's a senior. He's 29-0. The 2 seed is Chase Milnick from Downtown West. He's a senior. He's 30-5. The 3 seed is Danny Eckley from CB East. He won the East tournament. He's a senior. He's 28-2. And the 4 seed is Zach Van Horn, senior from Pottsville, who's 28-3. That's just the top 4 seeds. Some other guys that are going to be tough outs here: Logan Flynn from Hatboro Horsham, Matt Richardson from Chichester, Tyler Humphreys will have something to say about things. Dan Keller's returning state qualifier. Just a lot of guys here that can make some noise and find their way out. If we look here, round 1, Paulo DeSanto beating Eli Johnston from Perk Valley. DeSanto, like I said, he's 2-time state qualifier. He's going to be way too much for Johnston. Just the way it is. I mean, Johnston's senior 16-12 is going to be no match for him. We got Josh Reuter from Avon Grove. I believe they're only qualifier against Logan Flynn from Hatboro Horsham. Flynn, the senior. I'm going with Flynn to win. Richardson and Slaughter, I think is going to be one of the better matchups in the first round of this weight class. I'm going to go with Richardson from Chichester. He's been, definitely been here before. And then we got Abe Tinkara from Academy Park and Van Horn from Pottsville. I'm going Van Horn to get into the quarters. Down in the bottom half bracket, Danny Eckley and Ray Willichek from Downtown East. I'm going Danny Eckley. Tyler Humphreys and Dan Keller, one of the other better matchups in this first round. And I think Dan Keller makes his way to the quarterfinals. And then we have Shalom Thomas from Interborough and Anthony Bauer from Boyertown. And I'm going to go Thomas to get to the quarterfinals. And then I'm going Chase Milnick over Nolan Verspy from North Penn. Then we look at these quarterfinals, and maybe the second best quarterfinal, definitely top 5 quarterfinal match to keep your eye on will be Paulie DeSanto and Logan Flynn. DeSanto, the 1 seed, Flynn, the runner-up from the East from last weekend. And I think Flynn and DeSanto wrestled twice, and DeSanto has never beaten Flynn, but that changes on Saturday morning. I think DeSanto wins. Just it's got good coaches there at Plymouth White Marsh. Got an army of coaches. Too many to name. I'm gonna miss someone, but I'll give it a chance. Got Marcus Johnson. He's got Justin Gianvico, John Michael Stoudemire, David Luthi. He's got a lot of guys that can help him get to this point and get over this hump of not beating Flynn. And so We'll see what happens, but I got DeSanto winning that match. Richardson Van Horn's gonna be another good one, but I'm going with the guy that's had the better season up to this point, in my opinion. Had some tougher matches and won them, and that's Zach Van Horn. We got Eckley and Keller down here in this first semifinal. I'm going Eckley from Central Bucks East. This Central Bucks East team surprised a lot of people this year, and it's because of performances like Danny Eckley that got them there. So looking at this next quarterfinal match, we got Thomas and Milnick. And Milnick's gonna be way too tough for Shalom Thomas there. Should be noted, Milnick spent a good portion of his season at 195 and decided to move up. Felt it was the better road, or maybe it was a weight issue, but he's on a little bit on the smaller side. In a sense, I'm sure he bulked up and put some weight on to go back up to 220, but he's definitely I'm going to go out on a limb here, and he's probably the best athlete in the weight class, and a pretty tough wrestler to boot. Then this Van Horn DeSanto, I'm going with DeSanto, and Eckley Milnick, I'm going Milnick. And, I think in this one here, Milnick is going to be just a little bit too much for DeSanto to handle. His athleticism is going to give DeSanto a lot of fits, and I don't think it's something that DeSanto can overcome, because Milnick's a good wrestler to boot, so he has a good mix at this weight class. And when it's a fan of wrestling knows if you can move and wrestle this weight class, you become pretty dynamic, and Chase Milnick is going to be a good example of that. And so I got Milnick being our regional champ here. Let's go on and dissect these wrestlebacks, because again, there's a lot of guys here that are vying for those last 3 spots. So if we got Johnson and Reuter. I got Johnson beating Reuter, Slaughter beating Tunkara, Humphreys beating Wilczek, and then Versby beating Bauer. Flynn beating Versby in a little suburban 1 crime there. Richardson beating Humphreys, Keller beating Slaughter, and Thomas beating Johnston. Got Keller beating Thomas to get in that consolation semifinals. I got Flynn beating Richardson. And then you got Keller and Van Horn. I got Van Horn beating Keller. I got Eckley beating Flynn. And then I got Eckley beating Van Horn. And then Keller and Flynn for 5th place. I'm going with the guy who's been here before. Has already been in the States before. I'm going Keller over Flynn. I think he's just going to be better prepared for the match when it comes down to it. So, pretty wide open weight class past your one. Again, a lot of things can happen. The Flynn DeSanto in that quarterfinal can be a toss up. Like I said, it's gonna be one of the better matches of the quarterfinal round. As I talked about of all the matches, I mentioned earlier in one of my other previews the Sheehy and Sheehy and Quinn match gonna be a good one. And then at heavyweight, there's gonna be some good quarterfinal matches that I'm gonna get to in my next preview. So there's gonna be good matches everywhere. There's gonna be a few good matches in the first round, but more so in that quarterfinal round, there's gonna be some dandy matches that any fan of wrestling is going to be enjoy to see. So buckle up. This one is going to be in those wrestleback rounds. There's going to be some great wrestling as those guys try and punch their ticket.